I've helped over 100 companies get past seven figures in the last 6 years. And most recently in 2025, I took a company from around 125,000 to just under $500,000 per month in revenue. They came to us in early 2025 and wanted to scale up massively to around 3 to 400,000 per month. And by the end of the year, we're closer towards 500,000. So my name is James Lewis, CEO of Whitewater Investments and BizLeads. And today we're going to cover the four main things that we focused on and that we took from our SOPs documents for our private programs, implemented in this business, and how it actually took them and basically 5x their business in a fairly short period of time. So let's jump right in. How to scale from 100K per month for 500K per month. So these were the bottlenecks. Lead flow was too expensive, too inconsistent. They weren't contacting leads fast enough. They couldn't find the right people, and this structure wasn't built for scale. And when you scale, everything gets too expensive and profit collapses. Okay, so how do we make lead flow predictable again? So they came to us, we were running their ads, and it was also a consulting agreement. So we started off running direct response lead gen. Okay, now this was through a pay-per lead type deal. So it was basically like we were generating leads for them. But then on top of that, we're running ads through their brand as well. And we expanded into a book call funnel and VSL funnel. So let's run through that. Okay, so direct response lead funnel, that is 4 steps: ad to landing page to form to thank you page. That then goes directly into obviously a round robin system for us and directly into their CRM. So that's pretty simple. It's running direct response ads, meaning that the ads are going and it's basically saying unsecured business lending available up to 250,000 for businesses trading over 6 months. Click here to see if you qualify. That's direct response. Now, where it got more complicated was the book a call funnel. So this is basically a direct response ad, very similar to that. But a landing page, instead of capturing details that were regarding the lead, it was to actually have a call where it booked a time in so that they actually would speak with them. Next was the VSL funnel. So once we scaled this within that time, so this took them then up to around $200,000 per month. Then book a call took them up another around $100,000 per month. And then the VSL funnel, which was the highest quality, which we'll find in quality, started to drop slightly. So the VSL funnel was to combat this, okay? And the biggest thing that we had to focus on while running all of these three at the same time was increased creative velocity on our end, okay? So 20 to 40 new creatives per month per funnel at a minimum, and that is just creative. That was then split when they'd be edited, there'd be captions, there'd be multiple different ways that we'd package it in formatting. So it was like 100 to 150. We targeted all 5 awareness levels, meaning most aware, product aware, solution aware, and then least aware, and then there's one more. So all of them. We restarted winning ads formatting weekly. Okay, so what that meant is that basically winning ads, we would assess weekly and we'd reformat them to make sure that they were scaling. So we'd reformat our approach on it. So they would scale. We'd obviously kill off the most terrible ones, basically. And then we would go like that. So we then approved the offer and avatar alignment. So most expensive lead problems are offer avatar mismatch problems. Okay. So you need to make sure the dream outcome is clarified and you have the proper value equation of Alex Hormozzi's built into the business, okay? Because this is obviously direct response, which is basic pay-per-lead comparison. However, book a call and VSL was specific to this business in their offer, okay? So we had to make sure that they were very, very aligned on paying a higher CPL because this was a business in business finance who was already doing decent numbers, as you saw, but they had a bit of a higher minimum, meaning the normal minimum in Australian business finance and also United States, UK is usually around $8,000, pounds or American dollars per month, okay? This was at 20,000, so it upped a bit, okay? So that's how we fixed the lead flow problem and made it predictable. Next was speed and systems, okay? So speed to lead, speed to first conversion, first conversation, speed to second appointment, speed to application, speed to settlement, okay? Everything needed to compress massively. Average sales cycle was multiple weeks. We're able to bring that down to around 7 days to 10 days, okay? So from lead all the way to settlement. Now, implemented a 5-minute lead rule, meaning you have to contact these business hours were 8 to 6. So for this company, it was 8 to 6. So it was within 5 minutes, and basically 10 minutes or above danger zone, 60 minutes or that's how we would treat it. Okay. And they gained around 30 to 50% more conversions of the first contact, meaning contact rate, just by speed. Okay. Conversion rate, I believe, went around 80%, a bit higher for contact rate. Not conversion rate. contact rate. And basically, how did we do this? We used our 7-dial system and plus one more. So they had 8 dials, okay? 3 dials on the first day, then 2 per day SMS after each voicemail. So voicemail, SMS, email, and then they emailed on days 1 and 3. And then day 4 was 2 calls, was actually 1 call, sorry, then into a nurture sequence. They are into a no answer nurture sequence, okay? And this alone, we see contact rates going from 30 to 40% to 60 to 70, but theirs was around 80. Okay. And then installed a second, because when we analyzed the stats, the data at the very start, we then installed a second speed to second appointment KPI. Okay. So what this means, people track speed to lead, but almost none track second appointment. Now, what is this? This is basically you split up the qualification call and the actual application call. That's what second appointment means, application. So speed to application. Instead of application averages being 7 days, I can't remember the exact application number, but we brought it down dramatically. Okay, so you're aiming for within the lead coming in, like 24 hours for the second appointment, meaning you have a first call within 10 minutes. Maybe you dial them twice, 3 times, you get them on the phone. From there, they need to make sure an application is done that day. Okay. And you make sure within 60 minutes, following up after every call, because the speed in which you communicate with your clients in finance and any business, okay, is directly indicative of the conversion rate you're going to have with that client. The faster you can do everything, the better it's going to be. And then the biggest thing that we got from basically having people who couldn't complete applications or SOAs or anything like that in other industries is BAMFAM, which is book a call from a meeting. Okay, that means you never get off a call without bringing up your calendar and then using your calendar to book in your time, their time, to make sure that with that day or the next day, they can actually do it. Okay. Next was rebuilding team structure. They had just a broker system. We made sure that the SDRs were doing 100 to 150 calls per day. Okay. So the SDR system. Then they handed it off to the brokers, okay? Then they had an admin, and then when they got to 9 people, okay, doing this, we then brought in a sales manager, okay? You need a manager and a sales manager because finance is basically just sales and marketing these days, okay? So if you don't have a manager, you're never getting past 250, 300, 400,000 a month. And when we brought in the manager, they skyrocketed. They went, as you saw, like closer to 500,000. That was the biggest change. But the SDRs, they qualify the leads. Brokers, after a qualification happens, they then do the final step of qualification, a trial close and the application. And then obviously admins for docs, compliance, chasing, etc. And then a manager to manage all of this. And then the hiring system. So week 1, when bringing all these people in, because we also help them with the SDR hiring, brokering hiring, and sales management hiring. So week 1, shadowing, script learning, making sure they actually know what's going. Week 2, they're already into calls of warm leads, okay? And then week 3, live applications, meaning they are actually handing them off, objection handling. And then week 4, moving into the 30-day wrap up, is they're already on full KPIs, okay? Biggest lie ever told. Anyone who tells you I need 2 months to ramp up, it's a joke. We have a 30-day rule to reassess and then a 60-day rule to make sure we fire people within that period of time. So it works so well, okay? And I think one of the biggest things that people miss, so paid trials, okay? It's probably the biggest source ever going to be dropped in hiring, okay? Don't tell anyone, is in between first and second interview, you give a paid trial. You get them to review something or do a task, okay? Absolutely insane. You can literally filter out over 50% of applicants to getting to second interview who you would have brought on and thought they were good just by looking at quality of their work and how they react to be asked around a task when you're even going to pay them for it. It's crazy. Okay. KPI, accountability. So weekly tracking of contact rate, application rate, approval rates, settlement rates, cost to acquire a customer, lifetime value, so how many people you get to multiple services, and obviously net margin. Okay, without this and tracking, proper tracking, you're never going to be able to get up, and that's exactly what we did with them. Now, scale without killing your profits. Okay, so how do you solve the rise in cost to acquire and margin collapses? Okay, it's by focusing on small percentages that you are changing. Okay, so what I mean by this, the biggest rate that we find straight away that is the biggest one is application rate. So there's how many leads you get, how many leads you contact, how many opportunities you can generate, how many you turn those into applications. I guarantee all your leads fall off before then. I guarantee it. We've actually got surprisingly a great client right now who actually has worked so hard on that where they drop off is actually before settlement. It's approval to settlement. Like crazy. So application rate. tighter qualification questions, better discovery on the first call, so longer discovery. Imagine you're a mortgage, you think you can get through to someone, refinancing the mortgage, handing over all financial documentation in a 10-minute call. It's not exactly the best way. If you can keep them on a call for 30 minutes, but actually going through proper stuff, it's going to give way more trust, way more everything. Obviously, BAM booking a meeting from a meeting, short application form, so making sure that it's split up into bite-sized pieces, because people, when they have a 15-minute application to do, they get bored, they get tired, they don't do it. You split it into multiple sections. And then AI-driven pre-qualification. This was something we implemented that was AI scoring. I've talked about it in my AI videos, and it's basically scoring the leads before they come in. So we have a higher contact rate, higher conversion rate, higher application rate, okay? And then rave approval and settlement rate. So approval target, settlement target, fix with same-day doc tasting, which is what I was talking about above in terms of same day having second appointment, okay? Better packaging. This was internal training that they did. We didn't have as much involvement in this. Daily pipeline reviews was the sales management implementation, making sure you reactivate at approvals. So people who get approved don't settle, you follow up. People who do applications but don't get approved, you follow up in a few days, a few weeks. And then AI follow-up reminders. It's not really AI, but it sounds cool saying it, but it's basically just follow-up reminders, making sure you have automated follow-up reminders. So in 7 days, if someone at an application hasn't now become a settlement, you need a cadence, okay? And you protect margins with math, okay? You make sure these rates work, and I promise you, your margin will rise, okay? You need to make sure your CAC is in order, lifetime value is in order, app rate is in order, profit per deal is in order, and approval rate is in order, and you're properly tracking it, okay? So, scale. Number 4, scale your profits. Number 3, rebuild the team structure. Number 2, speed systems. And number 3, making lead flow predictable. This was the step-by-step. We were all doing this concurrently for this client in the business finance space, okay? That's how we took them from $100,000 per month to just under $500,000 per month. So this was valuable. Like, comment, subscribe. Apart from that, hope you guys have an amazing day.